Alright guys, so just trying to, take you over again. So what I'm doing, still the inspection for the queens, see how they're doing. This hive in particular is very bizarre because the bees are acting as if they've got a queen, but there is no sign of, any brood or an actual queen operating within this hive. So what we're going to do, as you can see, I've left, space for a frame over here, which is going to be with fresh eggs. So we're going to run a test on these guys. So we're closing them off because we don't want, to prompt any robberies. Let's see one of the other hives. See these big boys over here. Yeah, that'll do. Let's have a look inside. So I'm just going to show you as well. So this is the supper, the top box. This is where they're supposed to be collecting the honey, and as I say, these two are brood boxes. So whilst we're opening to get some eggs from here, I see what I've done. I see what I've done. So I was hoping that if I leave less frames inside, they will have, less less space to fill in. And yeah, you see, still got the queen excluded down here, but from what I'm seeing right now, last time I opened this hive about a couple of weeks ago, there was honey over here. Now there's not even on this frame any honey, which means that they are eating into the honey very heavily. My god, that's a little bit depressing to be fair. So look at the ones at the back. Oh my days, they've completely emptied it out. That's crazy. That is nuts. There was honey on here, and I was hoping that the wildflowers will help him, collect a little bit more, but the wildflowers are doing nothing for him by the looks of it. My god. Right, let's see what's happening in the bottom box. They may have eaten this honey over here, which was unsealed, because once they seal it, then it takes them a lot of effort, to unseal it, and it's remaining, for the winter usually. But fingers crossed. Let's see what's going on down here, because if they haven't got any honey in this second box over here in the brood box, then I am going to be extremely worried, because that'll mean that the bees have been compensating the lack of forage with, them eating into whatever they've got collected, let alone me hoping to harvest anything. So now, ooh, blimey, I really hope that at the very least they have some amount, for themselves, and we won't have to be feeding them heavily in order to have enough to survive the winter. Let's have a look. Right, okay, this one is a little bit heavy. They've got some fresh honey at the bottom of the frame, some sealed at the top, and this side is completely empty. That's a great start. I see a conjunction of bees over here. Oh my days. Come on. These twisted frames. Sorry, bees. Let's have a look. So 1, 2, 3 are completely empty over here. I've got nothing to do with these guys. Let's see what's going on. Yep, see there's no bees in between. So I've got no business taking these ones out. There are a bunch more bees at the bottom brood box. Nothing here. See what's going on here on these frames. There's a, ooh, calm down, calm down. Calm down, bees. I know you don't like it, but I have to do it. Plus, I'm hoping you can give me a frame with eggs for your fellow bees around the side. Just behind me. Well, these are a little bit agitated. Okay, wow. Wow. I finally see some honey. And as you can see, almost none of it has been sealed off. There is no way you should ever harvest honey which hasn't been sealed. At least a third of the frame has to be sealed off, like you see here. I'm still not getting very close to a third, but this is not due to be harvested. Okay, well, this is about 3 or 4 kilos. That's a decent amount. A frame. Alright, these girls are going nuts. I don't think I'm going to get away with working in without a smoker. You know, some families, they're just naturally more aggressive. I think it's got to do with genetics. That's why often when you have a very aggressive hive, the very first thing you do is you find the queen and you kill her. Then you replace the queen, thus the genetics of the family. Right, so I can see some eggs over there. And we've got a bunch of honey over here as well on the top. What's going on here? Am I seeing this right? Is that a third black dog, which looks almost exactly like my dogs, and is just out here chilling? Hello you. Hello you. Hello you. What's going on here? Where did you come from? Where did you come from? I'm so happy I've turned off the electricity on this fence. Okay, well, he got attacked by the bees. And now he's off. Oh, bless him. Well, my dogs are pretty used to it. That was my neighbour's dog. It seems like he's escaped again. Well, it seemed like her, but I don't know. Normally she's chained down there. Anyways, I'll figure it out later. So over here we've got fresh eggs and we've got honey. I can see there's some brood over here which still hasn't hatched as well. So we've got a working queen in this hive. Let's see around this side. I don't see that much eggs over here. This is not the best frame to take out and leave and put into the other hive. So I'm going to gently place it back. I'm going to be careful, I'm not squeezing any bees. Giving them a gentle blow. Alright, well, this is a better frame to take over because it's got a bunch, it's got a lot more eggs on it, and that means it's got more pheromones left from the queen, which will affect the other hive, which is queenless, or at least I think it's queenless. And we're about to test it out, so I'm just having a glance on this frame for the queen, okay? Because if she's on here, I need to be extremely careful with it. But I cannot see her on there. she must have laid her eggs and she's off to the next one. So I'm still going to do it in a safe manner, the way I shake the bees off. I'm going to drop them in here. And I'm just going to give it a few taps. So that way there we go. We safely remove the bees, or at least most of them. And then we're going to have to brush off the rest of them. Go back to the toolbox. There we have it. My brush. This is horsehair, so it's very soft. It's alright for the bees, doesn't hurt them in any way. And come back to the box. And we give them a gentle wipe off. They will obviously be in a rush to come back. Come on girls, I know you're not very happy about this, but I gotta help out, don't we? Gotta help out your fellow bees. Right, now I need to start moving aside because they fly back on it very quick. So I get out of the way, I check for a few last bees because I don't wanna bring in any live bees into the other hive, because chances are these guys here, they'll kill them. They'll kill whatever live bees I bring in onto, you know, this frame. Take it off nice and easy. There we go. See, once I've left the gap, they already started measuring how, you know, how far the distance is. And you know, them holding hands like this together, that is, as I say, that is them measuring the distance, and they'll be looking to start closing that gap and build it up with honeycomb. I'm just gonna give them a very gentle, like very nice and slowly. Gonna place it down inside. So now what we're going to do with these, oh, I dropped it. It's okay, things like that happen. It's not the end of the world. Now we're going to mark it, so next time I open it, I know exactly what I'm looking for and where to find it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this frame is going to do a test. So now, next time I open it, if I find a queen cell on this frame, now that means they haven't got a queen and they are due to raise one, okay? But if I open it next time and I don't see any queen cells onto that frame, it means that they have a queen somewhere in the hive. And unless I find fresh eggs onto the frames, it means I have a problematic queen. And that means a lot more work for me, basically. Long story short, there's always a lot of work for Alex. So then I'll have to find this problematic queen, as explained to you, and because she's not fertile and doing a job, they tend to be very erratic because they know that they're not doing what they're supposed to do. They know that there is a problem, so they'll be moving very fast, you know, inside the hive, along the sides, along the bottom. And it is a nightmare finding these queens, but we'll worry about it when we get to it. Ain't that right? So frames been marked, fresh eggs have been put in. That's it. Close them off. Nice and easy. There we go. Okay, and I put back a stone on it, so this is how I mark the problematic hives at this moment of time. I use different markings. Well, when we have the period of like thunderstorms and strong winds, I put stones on all of them because the tops tend to fly off sometimes. which is not great. But now what we're gonna do, this supper is depressing, if anything. But what we're going to do, we're going to take one frame from here because they're empty, they got nothing on them. Wow, wowzers. Take that, and we're going to replace the frame that we've taken away. So we got an empty frame, which we're going to leave here for the queen to fill up entirely with nice fresh eggs. Here we go. So yeah, bees, sadly last time we had a talk about this, I was very hopeful that you know, the little bit of honey they've collected, they're gonna top it up with the wildflowers, nectar, and you know, seal it off so we can, you know, have a little harvest at least this year. But seems like quite the opposite has happened. The very little they've had in the suppers seems to have gone now, which, as I say, it's not good. But it's been a terrible year, man. I can't control the weather. I can just only keep working hard, you know. It's just as much as I can do about that issue. And this one should be right like this. I'm going to, even though they're not putting anything in the supper right now, I'm keeping the suppers onto the hives until the temperatures drop, because if I was to take out these frames now and put them in the warehouse or just put them aside somewhere, the wax moths will attack them. But when you have the bees protecting the frames, the wax moth does not stand a chance. Nice and easy. Right, here we go. Close it off. Do you guys want to see some other hive in terms of you know, honey collections? These ones are all standing on two boxes. Some of them act as what do you call it? Act as suppers. Some as, you know, brood boxes. Ah, look at that. These trees, they were so strong yesterday. I water them every couple of days, and they are extremely heat resistant. But they were struggling big time because of the heat wave. You see this here? These little flower buds. This is you know, they're little flowers that soon are about to, you know, start producing nectar. Do we have anything on here? Nope, nothing on here. That's bizarre. But why am I still getting surprised by the flowers and, you know, plants in general not doing what they're meant to do this year? 90% of the, you know, the flora hasn't done what it's supposed to do this year, so I'm not going to depress myself by looking at them. These are the stronger hives over here that we have. Supper again. Let's see how much honey they've collected. I just want to show you firsthand what we're facing over here. The drought has been brutal. It's been very brutal. Right, I've done the same tactic over here. I've taken out some frames, hoping that having less space to occupy will help them, you know, fill up the suppers easily. Nothing on here. My God, they're eating into the honey like crazy. Like crazy. Right, it's got a little bit of honey I've collected. You see the shiny bits, and you see how very little they have sealed off. That's just nothing. I can't be harvesting this. And there is a reason why, you know, we can't be harvesting this, because when you harvest honey which is not ready to be harvested, then you're going to end up in big trouble, because bees, when they take the nectar from the flowers, right, it's just nectar, right? It's not honey at that point. And they bring it back, they place it into the cells, and they ventilate it. They've got their own ways of actually drying that nectar, reducing the water content inside of it until it becomes, you know, firmer and ready for it to be sealed off. So once the cell is full, and the honey is being and the nectar, well, is being ventilated, is being dried off, kinda, to the point where, you know, it can be sealed off, you know, the cell itself. This is the point when you as a beekeeper will be looking to harvest it, because if you harvest honey which is not ready to be harvested, chances are you will get one. You see, by the way, you see they've got honey here and there, like fresh honey, nothing sealed off. Well, these guys at least have got more than the previous ones. Well, that's sad. And yeah, when you harvest honey which is not ready to be harvested, you'll get it with very high water content. And when the water content exceeds 20%, well, you're going to have rubbish honey, right? It's going to get spoiled. If you leave it somewhere, you know, just to, you know, contain it, it'll get spoiled and you'll have to throw it away. You can't sell it, you can't eat it. That's why it's very important that you harvest at the right time, when it's ready to be harvested, not whenever you feel like it. So this one's a little bit better. These guys have got, you know, more honey in the suppers than, you know, the other ones, but quite frankly, for the last month they've had a lot more honey in here. So that tells me that the starvation, quite literally the famine this year for the bees, have been very brutal, and they're eating into their reserves and whatever they've been, you know, whatever they've been collecting. So prior going into winter, I'm definitely gonna have to feed them. I'm gonna have to feed them, well, not excessively, not too much, but just enough so they can get through the winter, eat whatever they've got. Right guys, I'm just gonna keep this video short, as I was, you know, working here just a minute ago. It's not even 7:30 in the morning, and I got a message on the camera saying that it's overheated, so I need to cool it down before continue using it. So you can imagine how hot it is over here, and that suit is certainly not helping anyways. So that was it guys. Just wanted to, you know, give you a glimpse of what we're facing over here in Bulgaria and what we're doing to, you know, try and get through this hard time. So yes guys, I'm going to turn the camera off now, put her in the fridge. Well, that's quite literally what I did now. I put it in the fridge inside for a couple of minutes so I can come back and record this. It is crazy. And I'm going to crack on with the rest of the hives before I've burned to crisp over here. Alright guys, have a good day. I'll speak to you soon.